Some cool news from GoPro. This has happened a couple days ago, I guess, at this point. Yesterday, some of this news, maybe yesterday, the day before. GoPro announcing their Hero 8 Black, brand new, top-of-the-line flagship device, and Max. Well, I guess the Max is now the flagship device, although the Max is sort of a different thing. Probably more people, if you're considering this a successor to the Hero 7 Black, the 8 would probably be the flagship. GoPro kind of pivoting right now, and I think in a very important way, in a way that I think where they're going to see success. You've heard in the past a lot of requests from people over what their GoPro should be, how they're using their GoPro. I watch a lot of content creators on YouTube, obviously, who have used GoPros in various ways and also wished that their GoPros could do things that the previous versions couldn't. For those of you unfamiliar, the GoPro is this very small, portable, rugged camera. You've probably seen footage from it, whether you knew it or not. It's that wide-angle point of view. If you've watched any kind of extreme sport, you've watched the evidence of GoPro filming and the output from it. But it was kind of, up until now, exclusive to that particular group. And I've followed GoPro pretty closely over the years, as it started exclusively as this rugged camera. It had not very good audio, but it was durable, but the video quality and the frame rates weren't really there in the early days. And it sort of developed alongside the progression of smartphone cameras as they got really good. Mm-hmm. And so this one gap that it could always fill is it was going to be more rugged than your smartphone. So they kind of just embraced that aspect and focused on that element in their product. But of course, the smartphone is still not quite perfect for a lot of video applications, particularly in vlogging, where a lot of users still gravitated towards point-and-shoot cameras because you had flip-around screens and better video quality and all these other elements. And it seems to me that GoPro is focused on that potential user now with the Hero 8 Black and the Max. And so this gets me to the big changes that have now occurred. This Hero 8 Black, while on the surface looks a lot like the previous version, they always kind of do, has now embraced a set of modules to increase the versatility of this camera and to attempt to attract users beyond just the extreme sports crowd. The new model is going to have modules that can clip onto it, such as a flip-around LCD so you can see what you're framing. Mm-hmm. So that's the vlog crowd. A light mod is what they're calling it, which is exactly what it sounds. It will illuminate the environment either forward or back. You have this shotgun mic media mod attachment, which gives you HDMI out ports, 2 cold shoe mounts, so you could also connect the other 2 modules to the media mod at the same time, and a 3.5 millimeter mic jack so you could put a better quality mic. Now, you add all those things up and you start to see a more versatile camera package in a tiny little form factor that could be suitable for a much wider variety of users beyond just the surfers, skiers, snowboarders, skydivers, and the crowd that is already very into the GoPro. Now, all that said, it's all very exciting, but all that said, for me, the most interesting part is their new Hypersmooth. Is that what they're calling it? Is it Hypersmooth, Will? They're very, very smooth.
2.0.
2.0 version of stabilization, which to me, at least if these demos, the current demos are to be believed, I don't have the product in my hands, they are going to send it to me, is like, it's like a Steadicam. It's like nothing I've seen before in terms of digital smoothing. It is so smooth. Will's got a demo on screen here. Some of the stuff that GoPro put out themselves is also very impressive. But as you can see here, this does a great job of showcasing the difference. They claim their new version of Hypersmooth is twice as good as the old one, but when compared to no stabilization at all, it's just obviously the unstabilized clip looks unwatchable comparatively, even when they're trying to shake the thing all over the place. So I don't know what kind of software magic is happening in the background, but I think this is going to have a positive impact on so much video that we run into online, because these are incredibly popular cameras. And now it would be reasonable to assume that if people go out and buy this one like they have the previous versions, we're all going to get to consume much stabler content and create it as well. I mean, this on the bike, Jack, you got to admit. Jack doesn't believe it. He thinks it's too good to be true. So we're going to have to get it into the studio and do our very own version of this test. He's a skeptical guy. What can you say? That's fine. But I just like the idea that they've put the focus into it and that they're aiming to improve the product. I will feature it on Unbox Therapy and dive a little bit deeper. But as of right now, it looks very promising. But that's not the only camera that they put out. They've got this Max version as well, which is going to have a slightly more premium price tag associated. And it's a dual camera setup, front and back, 360 capable, with a built-in screen and an improved microphone built in as well. I think vloggers might go all the way to this one. It's possible if they don't want the module setup. This has some of the benefits of those modules, but built right into a standalone unit. And some of the 360 edits, if you just will go to the official video, because these 360 edits broke my brain, the way they utilized it. If you just go to the launch video for the Max, type in GoPro Max, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. Yeah, introducing the top one there. These 360 edits broke my brain because it looks just like a typical GoPro, as you know, for a portion of the edit, and then the thing just flips around like, oh yeah, of course we were also capturing the remainder of the frame. So just leave this here for a second. Oh, we're on time warp for a moment here. This is like a time-lapse type of element. But typically what happened with 360 footage in the past is that you could tell it was 360 because it's low resolution. And so you knew you were kind of just waiting to potentially move around. I like that they also put a focus on the audio performance. Apparently this thing has much better mics in it. But what you'll see, like that, look at that edit right there. What even took, Will, Jack, just take a look at this edit. So the guy is reframing the footage. So look at that. What are movies even going to be in the future? Where is the camera? Your brain gets busted on the location of the camera. As this edit comes through his legs, what even happened there? And then pans all the way around. It's like having it's like, why would you need multiple cameras if you can get the resolution high enough to support the 360 view, like that shot right there? I mean, this to me is much less useful when they just show the whole 360 at once, but those edits are just mind-boggling. They break your brain a little bit. So this is one of those situations where it's kind of like VR to a certain extent, is when the resolution gets to a point that it fools you in the standard frame, and then moves to a cut that moves you around the subject matter, now you've done the trick effectively. The reason it hasn't worked up until this point is because you feel like you've sacrificed immediately on the initial frame. And then when you move around, you're like, okay, that's kind of cool, but the whole thing isn't the caliber I'm looking for from a resolution perspective. So I'm not sure that this one is going to do it. Obviously, this is their demo video, and they're going to make it look as effective as possible. In the real world, it'll be probably a slightly different story, but nonetheless, it opens your brain to this potential future in which you're always capturing everything and deciding at a later point how you want to frame your edit based on the fact that you captured everything around you.
Right. Just do it in post.
Do it in post.
Yeah.
Capture everything all the time and then figure out the point of view in post. It's very interesting. Anyway, nonetheless, GoPro, just like Microsoft, they're not napping. They're going to continue to battle. And it's particularly important right now because DJI has come into their space in a big way. DJI has their action cam. I don't know, is it the Osmo Action? I can't remember what they call it. Osmo Action, yeah. And the Osmo Action had the front-facing screen on it, so vloggers started to gravitate towards it for obvious reasons. So the competition is hot right now. It's on. And as you can see, as usual, the beneficiaries of the competition are the customers. We're starting to see more variations here and potentially cooler stuff that people are going to be capable of creating because of these features. And they're going head-to-head on features right now.